gun out of his hand, and I said, who are you? And he looked at me and he says, are you a priest? Now, the dogs in the street know who I am, so I thought, how does this child not know who I am, in the sense, and I thought, I don't recognise this child. And I said, who are you? And he wouldn't give me his name. And I said, what age are you? And he said he was 12, to which I said, yes, and I'm 60. I happen to be 46. And I said to him, son, where are you from? And eventually, as children, you persisted, and he let slip that he was actually from a parish that was a mile away. He wasn't even from the same parish. He was 9 years of age, and I thought to myself, where are your parents? Who's supervising you? And what turned out into almost a circus on the night, but a dangerous one, because we ended up, and I spoke to hardened former mainstream Republicans who've now come on board on the peace process, who said during the 70s and the 80s this just didn't happen. You would have had teens in their late teens alright involved in rioting, and some of them said they would have been themselves, but you never saw children, and most certainly you didn't see the number of girls. At one stage last night it looked like the Milan catwalk. I mean, I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. I mean, there were girls out with little parasols, because it ended up, when I left the scene last night at 1:30, having been on the go from 6 o'clock 2 days ago, there were some of the community activists with me. We were soaked to the skin, and here you had this ludicrous situation, and young fellas then acting it up for the girls, and then they post these images onto the social network, and it's just become like recreational rioting is the term that's used, but it was a bit like a Euro Disney theme park for rioting. It was ludicrous.
This is an extraordinary account you're giving. I mean, so it's pointless violence rather than pointed in some political direction.
Once the parades commission gave the determination that the evening parade would go by, you said to yourself, there's now a vehicle, there's now an opportunity for these young people to gather. As we gathered yesterday to debate this out with community leaders, we were saying, if that had not happened, would these young people have congregated anyway? And that's a burning question for us, because take away all the stuff that's been said about orchestration, etc., by more sinister people within the community. The question we were saying yesterday was, these people were out of control. These children were out of control. I mean, because I had people, I had children facing down what would have been, hardened mainstream Republicans of yesteryear, who are now full weight behind the peace process, and they were taken from these young people who were literally out of control. I mean, and all you could do at a level of adults and ourselves was to prevent incursions into either side and hold the line that way. But as far as the actual rioting was concerned, as far as the mayhem was concerned, it took on a life of its own.
What a bizarre account of a very strange turn of events. Father Gary Donegan from Ardoyne, thank you very, very much indeed.